Next on the news, those struggling to afford a Thanksgiving meal now have a guardian angel in Brooklyn.
It's more than food. It's the chance to have a holiday. That's what North Brooklyn Angels is giving the people here this Thanksgiving. I'm Jessica Easthope. That story is coming up.
It's not Macy's, but it could rival it. A Catholic Academy in Flushing holding their own Thanksgiving parade for the first time ever. Plus, he's been the steady soundtrack of St. Anthony, St. Alphonsus for 30 years. In tonight's Pulse of the Parish, we introduce you to Edward LaPlant, who explains why his job as a church organist is more like a calling.
There's a feeling that I get when I do it. Such a feeling of peace when I do it, and I love doing it.
I'm Christine Persichetti. Currents News starts right now. They are angels on earth, helping to make Thanksgiving a happy one for all. North Brooklyn Angels are hosting their 5th annual Neighbors Giving Thanks campaign this Thanksgiving week, serving a traditional holiday meal with turkey and all the trimmings. As Currents News' Jessica Easthope reports from Bushwick, the drive is helping to bring the holiday spirit to those struggling to make ends meet.
The chance to sit down, eat a dignified meal, and participate in tradition. That's what the North Brooklyn Angels are giving the people here this Thanksgiving.
Ready for lunch? All right.
Bushwick Abbey saw young and old on Tuesday, a community of people in need being fed by the North Brooklyn Angels.
Hello, here you are.
This is the 5th year the organization that battles food insecurity in North Brooklyn has held its Neighbors Giving Thanks campaign, providing 1,000 frozen turkeys, 2,000 mobile meals, and 4 sit-down Thanksgiving lunches. Mereda Nunez, who came with her son Michael, said she was endlessly grateful.
Nowadays, it's hard to get groceries. Everything is so high, eggs, everything, eggs, milk, especially, even though WIC helps me with him, but it's still too much.
Turkey and all the trimmings were dished out in an assembly line and given to more than 100 people at Tuesday's lunch.
Ooh, yum.
Michael Salamanca and his wife Hillary have been volunteering with the Angels for 4 years. He says his Catholic faith has instilled in him a love of service.
You get what you give, and it's just an opportunity for us to give back a little bit of all the goodness and the positivity that our faith in the Lord has given us in our lives.
Pasa bien.
Thank you, gracias.
Felicidades de pavo.
North Brooklyn Angels board member Jonathan McKenna says the migrant crisis has changed their operation in many ways. It's allowed them to collaborate with community leaders who know the population best.
We knew that we needed to help people that have come here with almost nothing, right? And through oftentimes harrowing journeys to be here. So what can we do to ease that burden for them?
North Brooklyn Angels will be hosting 3 more community meals like this on Thanksgiving Day. All in all, 600 plates of food will be distributed. In Bushwick, Jessica Easthope, Currents News.
Move over Macy's. There's another Thanksgiving parade that's painting the sky this holiday season. St. Kevin's Catholic Academy in Flushing held its first ever balloon parade Wednesday. The kids were inspired after reading the book Balloons Over Broadway, a true story about the puppeteer who created the first balloons for the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade. Students and faculty alike said the celebration was the perfect kickoff for the season of giving.
It blew me away of how creative, how open they became with just their ideas and what they use too. It's absolutely impressive.
This is definitely big school spirit, and seeing all the balloons, I'm like, wow, that's a lot of characters. That's a lot of spirit from all different types of movies and TV shows. I just love my spirit. So much fun.
While this is the first time the balloon parade sailed through St. Kevin's, the Catholic Academy wants to keep the tradition going and making it bigger and better in the years to come. A church in Greenpoint is giving thanks for a man who's given 30 years of his life to the church. Not a Sunday goes by that people at St. Anthony, St. Alphonsus don't see and hear Edward LaPlant. He's a rare breed, and tonight he's also the pulse of the parish.
These steps are as familiar to Edward LaPlant as the ones he uses at home. That's because he's been climbing to this choir loft for decades. Ed has been the music director at St. Anthony St. Alphonsus Church in Greenpoint for the last 30 years. He says it's more than a job, it's a calling.
There's a feeling that I get when I do it. It's nothing like I can explain to you. It's just something that happens to me. There's just such a feeling of peace when I do it, and I love doing it.
Ed's fingers have been dancing over these keys since he was 11 years old, a God-given talent, enhanced by the historic instrument he plays.
It's called the Columbus organ. It's a New York City historic pipe organ.
Built in 1892, this massive, rare instrument with pipes that reach toward the heavens produces a sound that lifts the souls of parishioners.
We're talking about an instrument that's over 100 years old. However, if you know how to do it, this organ can be as contemporary as any electric guitar out there, as far as sacred music goes.
It seems Ed always had a feeling he'd end up working in a church. As a teenager, he imagined himself standing at the altar as a priest. But he changed his tune and found sitting at this bench was how he should be praising God. The pastor, Father Sebastian Augustine, says Ed's contribution to the parish has been music to his ears.
Maybe the singers, the cantors changed, but then he remained.
Ed has played through moments of joy and sorrow, whether here at St. Anthony St. Alphonsus or at NYPD events. The retired police detective shares his talent with others. But Ed says he has no plans to retire as music director.
This is where I belong. Never wanted to do anything else but play in church, and that's what I'm doing.
And now you know Edward LaPlant from St. Anthony St. Alphonsus and how he makes up the pulse of the parish.
Joining us now with more about the parish of St. Anthony St. Alphonsus is the pastor, Father Sebastian Augustine. Thank you so much for being here, Father.
You're welcome.
So first, tell me how Ed and the historic organ he plays help to enhance the Mass.
For the parish of St. Anthony and St. Alphonsus, probably the constant factor that you see in the church, because we people, I'm only 4 years old there in that church,
right.
Came from India. Mm-hmm. But then Ed was there before. Of course, I've visited the parish before as the CMI center where the delegate superior lives, so we need to interact with him. But then I've come across Ed quite a few times in the church and how he plays, and he gives a class performance all the time. So with I mean, being city, of course, we are sometimes disturbed through people coming in or unwanted. He gets upset for anything that
don't touch his organ.
Yeah, not only touch the organ during the Mass, during music, anything interrupts, he's very much upset.
Well, he's very good. It's like being at a concert every Sunday, I would say. So, you know, you're fortunate to have somebody who actually plays the organ. Currents News has reported on the shortage of organists nationwide. And we want to take a look at those numbers. As of 2022, there were 13,000 members of the American Guild of Organists, only 48 in the Brooklyn chapter, and a decade earlier, there were 58. And not only do you have the musician, you also have someone who can fix the organ, somebody that lives in the neighborhood. So how do you maintain this ancient instrument?
Every year we need to do some maintenance because some of these parts I see, they are made of wood, and during the rainy season, maybe the dampness, whatever affects, and then he has to replace some of the things he had to replace. And that whole bellows is actually in the basement in the lower church where the air pumps in the old set. No, it is a more than a century old machine. It is.
Sure.
So you need every year some kind of repair. And this year, while I was saying Mass, I didn't know there was suddenly a noise. I couldn't locate it. After that, we found it was some fixtures on the wall that came off from, it's on the loft.
Oh my goodness. Well, thank God you have somebody who can fix it and
Yeah,
help you.
right.
Now we know St. Anthony's Church was founded in 1856, but not in the location it is presently. Tell us
right.
where it started.
Yes, I read the history. I found that it was actually on India Street, a couple of blocks away,
Okay.
in a small place, and then they purchased this land with some parking lot, and now we have 3-4 buildings there. You know that the parish church, the rectory, the convent, the parish hall, and we used to have a school as well.
Okay. All
So-
right. And it wasn't until 1874 that the current church opened
Yeah,
on
that's
Manhattan
right.
Avenue. Back then it was filled with Irish Catholics. That's who founded the parish in the beginning, but we know the population of Greenpoint is changed dramatically. So talk about the demographics of your parish.
Yeah, I know in the beginning, priests from Long Island came to construct a church there slowly, and then now, of course, it is really a mixture of all, mainly, I mean, the area is known to be predominantly Polish, they say. And the single largest attendance I get for a mass is now Spanish.
Okay, that's
Yep, that
Reminiscent
says it
of
all.
it.
And then the other masses, definitely all the people from European descent,
Right.
mostly, yeah.
Thanks, Father Sebastian. Do you know someone who is the pulse of their parish? Let us know. Email us at newstips@desalesmedia.org or call our 24-hour number, 718-517-3122. That is this Currents News Update. I'm Christine Persichetti. Thank you for joining us because we are putting your faith in the news. On behalf of the Currents News team, we'd like to wish you all a happy Thanksgiving. And before we go, ask you to join us in this prayer of gratitude ahead of the holiday. Hope to see you again next time.